Imagine waking up one morning to find your fortune vanished, your future uncertain, and the streets of Wall Street filled with panic. This is a story of 1929, the day the world realized that even the strongest empires of wealth can crumble in hours. In the warm autumn days of 1929, the beating heart of New York, Wall Street, pulsed with confidence and greed. Between the towering skyscrapers, laughter echoed. Fortune, it seemed, belonged to anyone daring enough to reach for it. Each morning, crowds gathered before New York Stock Exchange. Brokers, reporters, investors, and dreamers, all chasing the same illusion, easy wealth. America in the 1920s was living through an age of glittering prosperity. Automobiles rolled off assembly lines, radios brought Wall Street news into every home, and the phrase, "everyone's winning," filled the air. Butchers, teachers, and mechanics all bought stocks. Even housewives whispered ticker symbols over dinner. On the trading floor, shares of General Motors, U.S. Steel, and RCA, Radio Corporation of America, climbed endlessly. Newspapers celebrated the golden age of capitalism. The famous economist Irving Fisher confidently declared, "Stock prices have reached what looks like a permanently high plateau." But beneath that plateau, a storm was quietly forming, and no one saw it coming. The great boom was built on debt. Investors were buying on margin, paying only 10% of the stock's price and borrowing the rest. $1,000 worth of shares could be bought for $100 in cash. But if prices fell, the debt would swallow them whole. It was a national fever. Banks lent recklessly. Newspapers told stories of overnight millionaires. And young men dreamed of escaping poverty through the stock ticker. Wall Street had become a casino, and the entire country was betting its future. Then came Thursday, October 24th, 1929. In the early morning, an uneasy silence hung over Wall Street. When trading began, sell orders poured in like an avalanche. Prices plummeted within minutes. Pans of motor fell from $115 to $30. U.S. Steel from $260 to $193. On the trading floor, panic spread faster than wildfire. Sell at any price. Phones rang endlessly. Faces turned pale. The air reeked of sweat and cigarette smoke. Police had to block the entrance as crowds gathered outside, desperate for news. Some investors fainted. Others jumped to their deaths. Fortunes vanished in the blink of an eye. A group of powerful bankers tried to calm the market by injecting millions of dollars to buy shares. For a brief moment, prices stabilized. But the relief was an illusion, the calm before the real collapse. Just 5 days later came Black Tuesday, the day that would change history. Everyone wanted to sell, no one wanted to buy. The market imploded. 16 million shares were traded that day, a record that symbolized destruction, not growth. Prices nosedived. Companies worth millions became worthless. Outside, on Broad Street, men wept openly. Women screamed. A city built on confidence was drowning in despair. The mighty temple of modern capitalism had fallen. The crash was not the end. It was a beginning. Banks collapsed. Businesses went bankrupt. By 1930, 12 million Americans were unemployed. Breadlines stretched for blocks, and families sold furniture to survive. Once proud automobiles became homes for the homeless. The Dust Bowl disaster destroyed farmlands, forcing thousands to migrate westward. Across the nation, shanty towns, sarcastically nicknamed Hoovervilles after President Herbert Hoover, spread like scars of shame. America was no longer the land of dreams. It had become the graveyard of its own optimism. In 1933, Franklin D. Roosevelt rose to power, offering a promise of renewal. His message was simple: the New Deal. Banks were restructured, massive public works projects created jobs, and farmers received aid. Slowly, painfully, the nation began to recover, but the trauma ran deep. No one would ever again believe that prosperity was eternal. Yes, the market would rise again. Fortunes would return. But after 1929, America's soul was changed forever. The Great Depression became more than a chapter in economics. It became a warning to the world. Even today, when the markets tremble, an echo whispers through trading floors and financial newsrooms alike. Remember 1929, because the true measure of wealth is not how high you climb, but how you stand when the world falls apart.